Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Car Rides with Schla. So this morning, I guess it got off to a poor start, at least for my standards, because I ended up waking up about, 10 or 15 minutes later than usual, and then I'm going to keep it very mysterious and vague, but this week I was purposely waking up approximately 10 to 15 minutes earlier than usual because I'm doing something where tonight's episode is going to be shorter, but I'm not going to say what I'm doing, but I'm leaving work early today and keeping it very vague and mysterious. Leaving work early today and getting something done. And so I've been waking up slightly earlier. I've really been trying to get out the house as early as possible, earlier than I really have been. All that good stuff. But this morning I woke up about I woke up 10 minutes later than usual, but then this week I had been waking up 10 minutes earlier than usual, so it was really more like 20 minutes later than I wanted. Now, my rule about it with the sleep thing is you really never want to do without. You never really want to do outside of a 30-minute window. You want the window as tight as possible for a sleep-wake cycle. That's just what you want to do. And I think going to bed is the harder thing to keep consistent. Waking up is very easy because I typically have an alarm, but I use the vibration on the Apple Watch as an alarm. I don't really like the sound alarm. That's just kind of something I'm not too into for obvious reasons. It's very loud, it's very obnoxious, and I don't like it. Do not like the sound alarm. It's probably not as good for you either. But yeah, I guess the argument could be made an alarm's not really good, but it does help with consistency, and I think it's good as a safeguard, so I just use it. I'm going to actually, now that I'm talking about that, I'm going to do research into that to see what is actually optimal, if it is the alarm or not. Yeah, I'm not really sure, because that is interesting to think about, because an alarm, my wake time is exceptionally consistent. I think for about a month straight I've woke up at the exact same time, with probably only a variation of basically the exact same time. There's only 2 mornings maybe 3. Yeah, I think there's 3 mornings in the past month where I didn't wake up, and one of them was earlier and one of them might have been about 20 minutes later, and then today was about 10 minutes later. So, I don't know, I think that's a pretty good track record, right? Most of the time I just wake up at the same time every day, which is, it's foreign to people, but I've talked about that before. There's this fictitious idea that staying up late is somehow a good thing, or it's normal. It's the weekend, I'm going to stay up late. Just some random thing somebody made up. It's not rooted in anything, and it's wrong. There's no reason to intentionally disturb a sleep cycle is the stupidest and most ignorant thing a person could do. It's really bad, and I don't know, there's a lot of people who just try to justify things because they're dumb, and yeah, I'm coming out the gate swinging today because it really ticks me off. But at the end of the day, I'm not too mad because it is just a a deviation of 10 minutes, so it's, I mean, I didn't like sleep in that much, you know what I mean? So it's okay. It's just the timing of it. I always get kind of OCD about timing, and even for myself, I hold other people to a high standard for timing, but also I hold myself to a high standard for timing. So, yeah, I'm not hypocritical. Although, recently what I was thinking about, something that is hypocritical that I think is I always love to touch people's things. Like if I'm at their house, I really like to look at things, feel things, touch things. But I hate when people touch my stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I guess it's hypocritical, but that's just what I think. I mean, I can't really change that or help that. It's just I do love to touch things, but I don't like when people mess with my stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it truly hypocritical? I'm not really sure. Because I think the problem with hypocrisy is you don't look at it through the correct lens of what it is, right? So on one hand, that on surface sounds like if you're looking through the lens of equality, okay, yeah, like that's hypocritical because you're not treating someone else how you want to be treated. However, each of those behaviors are different. One is obviously more of a dominant thing to touch somebody else's things, whereas the other is a submissive behavior, which is allowing someone else to touch your stuff. So I don't know that it's exactly relevant to coin as a hypocrisy because it's filling two different archetypes. It's not really the same archetype. I'm sure there might be people who let people touch their things and then don't touch other people's things. Like, what if there's somebody who doesn't? And then, of course, that's well. Let me try to phrase that properly. There's some people who don't care to touch other people's things, so they just never do because they don't want to. But then they probably also wouldn't mind if somebody touched their stuff. And I'm saying that's not seen as hypocritical, even though it sort of is. But I guess there's that implicit bias towards as long as you are not affecting someone else, then it's better. Which even that bias I think is incorrect, because when I was in school and I was a shy person, but I wanted to talk, I would like when people talk to me, even though the manners or the politeness would be, oh, don't talk to that person if they don't talk to you. But see, if that was the case, the world would be a very cold and miserable place. And I think we may have talked about that before. There's a lot of people have all these like advanced psychological tricks to win over people, and a common thing is, oh, if somebody ghosts you, you ghost them back. You can't be seen as the weak one. And it's all these power tricks. And again, the truth is, it's a lot of advanced nonsense that gets created through texting. And if everybody in the world was a ghost, the world would be a horrible place and nothing would ever happen. So it doesn't make any sense, and it's very selfish. It's very selfish of people to do that kind of stuff. To ghost as a tactic to win over arguments or situations. Like, how about we have a standard of high emotional intellect, and so you talk things through. You don't have to do these advanced ghosting or cold tactics to try to get the other person to care more or something. I mean, I've never, I don't really know what I'm saying right now because I don't engage in that sort of stuff. So, because I always thought it was stupid. But I think I'm ahead of the curve with that too, whereas a lot of that stuff is going to be seen as stupid, maybe a lot further in the future than the 2030s, but you know, I don't think that's going to change too quick. But hey, I mean, when privacy no longer exists and everything's tracked, I think people are going to switch up big time. You know, that is the truth, though, isn't it? I mean, imagine when everything's tracked and there's no more anonymity. Don't you think people are going to switch up? I think they're going to switch up quickly. I think you're going to see the way people act on social media is going to change very quickly. And it's actually laughable, really. Because most of the time when I'm on there, I'm very consistent about things and very consistent in terms of care and all that stuff. But once it's logged and tracked, people are going to switch up. They're going to switch up hard because people are that fake. I don't know. Oh, I cannot wait for it. I just can't wait for it. I'm so excited for the future. I mean, I want Palantir to win. I want them to do it's just so worth it for me. And I guess I have the self-awareness that it's fairly selfish. Sorry, I don't know why I was going to say stressful. It is selfish, but I don't know, man. Like I've really been hurt and annoyed by people not being accountable for stuff, you know? And so when this new era is ushered in and everything's tracked, you guys are going to be in for it. You're going to have to be accountable for your poor social behavior, and you're going to get hurt by it. I'm just very excited because the amount of pain and frustration I've gone through won't all be for nothing in the new age of just utter tracking and surveillance. And I don't know if I explicitly said it, but the thing I'm most excited about is just how inevitable the future is. I think Trump winning in 2024 did accelerate things, but if we're being completely honest, it is happening regardless of what party was voted for. Harris and Trump both had ways they were going to use AI to survey, and it's just different in terms of implementation. So it didn't even matter. It didn't really matter who won, but I just say the Republican is the more liberal party right now in terms of they are enacting things at a faster rate, and I think they're more modernistic. Ironically, even though I don't really hear many people say that, but that's my take, is that they're more of a modernistic party than the Democrats. The Democrats, despite, I guess, being more progressive socially in terms of policy, are a bit slower. I don't really think... I mean, it's a bit of a hard thing to gauge, because I know there's the CHIP Act, which was a big deal, and that was very future tech-oriented, but obviously, you know, at this stage and for the foreseeable future, the Republican Party is the more future-oriented party. For better or worse. I mean, I've said it's going to cause a lot of destruction for a lot of people, but yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. These things I'm talking about, either party, I'm sure whatever candidate they pick is going to be in lockstep with it. I'm sure. So I don't really care who wins or doesn't win, because the whole point is, if you vote Democrat or Republican, they're both a vote for AI, right? They're both a vote for AI, and that is the most beautiful thing about my movement and my hope for the future, and why I'm very excited. So, yep. It's here, we're here, it's here now. Now, something I've been wanting to talk about for a while now is the nature of what AI is and how it's used. Because I notice a lot of people don't know. I don't think a lot of people even know what AI is or how it's used, and I think that's very stupid. It's a shame. And I wanted to get into that. So when I first was thinking about things like the Neuralink, even way back when I was thinking about, I guess when I first thought about this stuff would have been roughly 2018 or 2019, with the advent of Bluetooth earbuds, and then in addition to that, smartwatches or different things you could cheat on tests. Right, because you could have, I don't know, you could have pre-recorded all the stuff that you needed to know for the test and had it looping in the earbud. I never actually did any of this, but I think the teachers were catching on towards the end, because then they were checking to see if people had earbuds in, but some teachers didn't. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, I probably could have cheated, and then I would have had way higher grades, and probably in some classes would have just gotten away with it. But I didn't really want to do that. I just didn't really feel like I didn't even I didn't even care about school enough to cheat. You know what I'm saying? Like I recently, I don't think I've said this on a video, but one of the things I would do is purposely just try to take tests and finish as fast as possible. It was like ridiculous. And one time it was really funny. A test that everybody else was taking a long time to finish and do, and I think some people even had to stay afterwards and take extra time. I just sat there the entire time and did nothing. I didn't even pick up my pencil. And I believe in the last, so I think the class periods were like 40 some minutes or something like that. And so I just sat there the whole time just staring at a blank paper, didn't pick up my pencil, didn't do anything, and purposely did that. And I think somebody noticed, like, and they were like obviously they noticed. And then I think the last 15-ish minutes of the period, I just grabbed my pencil, rushed through the multiple choice, turned the test over, and got the 5-paragraph essay done, completed, and then turned it in. And the person who was looking at me they just had such a dumbfounded expression on their face. And I always remember that. It was kind of just some funny, silly thing I did during high school at one point. And in addition to that, I mean, I generally just wanted to be finished first. So that I always just like rushed through tests on purpose. I don't know. I just wanted to get that thing away from me. You know what I mean? And so I was usually the first on tests, but I would get like a 70 or an 80, because it's just quick. Just like, boom, okay, whatever, you know, first just blitz through those things. Fun times, right? Fun times. But now everything's all accountable, and it's at a job, and yeah. Well, is what it is. But that was some pretty fun reminiscing, though. I can't lie. They were fun times. I wish I did more fun stuff in high school. I think my social anxiety prevented me from doing so. It's kind of a shame. I don't really think I got a great high school experience because of that. But if my social anxiety was not as bad, things would have been way different. So I didn't even get to explain what I was going to say, which we'll finally get to now, about the nature of AI. So back around that time when I was thinking about how you could use an earbud to cheat, I obviously eventually thought of how if at some point they have an embedded device in your brain or even near your brain or something like that, you could just download learning and then be able to do stuff. That's kind of the idea, right? Like what's the point in going to college or learning things if you could just download knowledge and then it would just be instant. There would be no need for teachers or anything like that. You would just have the knowledge to do what you need to do. I haven't actually thought about that in a while, but I don't know about the actual feasibility of it, but that really would change things, right? Because that would mean everything is going to just solely come down to raw human skill and a person's, I guess, spontaneity and creative potential. It's people like me. I mean, I would benefit so much from that because you can obviously tell from the series. I mean, I have a very jumpy, quick mind. I mean, I very good with words, coming up with things, just boom, 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 and that but I'm kind of lazy when it comes to action and execution. It's very difficult for me to, let's say, sit through a class. So if I could just get a download of the information, I'd be able to apply it really well. But let's rewind a little bit. So in thinking that, you initially think, oh, technology is just going to lift everybody up. Because now people who are really stupid won't need to remember things anymore and they'll be further ahead, right? I mean, sounds simple enough, sounds like it makes sense. But my recent theory, I think, is a lot more accurate. So there could have been a time where technology was an equalizer. It maybe bridged the gap between classes a little bit, back when it was very slow. There was probably a point where it was slow and inexpensive enough to where it really lifted poor people up, because now poor people had access to the internet, which is a limitless vault of information. So you could self-teach yourself all kinds of things and, really get ahead. There was a period of time where I think that was the case. And I guess it's arguably still the case because technology is cheaper than it ever has been. But the problem is now that there's such a speed differential, there are certain people, for me, when I get a new phone or a new computer, I immediately notice a speed difference and I'm able to take advantage of that. It feels good. It feels like I can get stuff done faster. I notice it. A lot of people, if they get a new phone or a new computer, they don't really notice any difference, and they're used to whatever speed they had been at. Right? So that's kind of what I'm saying, where I think we've reached the point where already phones are faster than what a lot of people can handle. My words per minute, for example, is I say 60 to 70, but let's just say comfortably it's 60. But of course, sometimes I'm not pushing it, so it might be like a casual 50 to 60. So I'm pushing the limit of what a phone can do. Most people are not. Most people do not hit that. And so when it comes to operating through a phone, I'm actually able to do more and get more done and be further ahead than most people, just because of my mobile phone typing speed, my interaction with the device. And that's not even getting into the fact that most people primarily just use the phone as an entertainment device, whereas I don't. Obviously, most of my time on a phone is doing something nonfiction related, something productive, either asking GPT a lot of questions and reading and learning about things, and also calling GPT out when it's wrong, because that's an important thing too, because GPT does get a lot wrong, so you have to be discerning while using it. Learning a lot, I mean, that's most of the time. Obviously, sometimes I do fun things, but not often. Just not really appealing to me. But my culminating point is, I don't think that's how the future is going to be. I don't think that dumb people are going to just be lifted up. I think technology is going to exacerbate inequality, and I know I've said that before. But what's really going to happen is, because already right now you could learn things and people don't. And I assume in the future, with distraction becoming a bigger and bigger problem, people are going to be even more out to lunch and just have no idea what to do with themselves. So I don't think people are even going to be downloading knowledge, because people are going to be too distracted just using the brain tech to watch TikToks faster. I think most of the population that's just what they're going to do. Like, they have a free moment, they're just going to have TikTok running. That's what most people are going to end up doing. I think by the time we get there, a lot of people aren't even going to care about knowledge or learning, because even now people don't. And this is the whole thing. It's out there. It's as easy to learn things as it's ever been. The potential of AI is insane. For people who aren't smart or can't understand things, you can just copy paste text and have it re-explain it, summarize it in a easier to... I mean, it is insane, and nobody is using it. Nobody is even caring to use it properly. I'm sure some people are, but it's a minority percentage. I have a feeling the bulk of AI interactions are nonsense or more trivial things or topics. I don't think I'm wrong about that. It's just people... I mean, this gets into a bigger issue with humans themselves, but the culminating theory, which I know you've been on the edge of your seat for, is that AI is a mirror. In my experience using it, it is not very good at striking things, as I refer to it as. It's really not good at introducing new stuff on its own, if that makes any sense. It just seems bad at it. It seems like very difficult for AI to do that. If you're talking to it about something, it'll elaborate on what you told it. But a lot of times, there's been a few times maybe it notices something if I give it information to sift through and I want to help it. I want it to, and I specifically ask it, find some interesting things, but usually it doesn't. Usually the AI just doesn't really find anything, and then when I just look at it myself, I actually find it. Not really sure what that is, why that is, but that's why I say AI is like a mirror. I don't think the Neuralink is just going to make a bunch of people smarter. I think it's going to make people who are already smart that much more insanely smarter. I mean, I can't even imagine what my brain would be capable of with a Neuralink in it. It would just be rapid fire. It would be insane. I mean, an inquisitive mind is so perfect and good for AI. I already do. I already think I use it more than anybody I know, just because I have so many questions all the time. And so now, before I would look stuff up a lot, but now, essentially GPT is just a superior search engine And yeah, but I just wanted to mention that AI is often a mirror. Now, perhaps not all the time. Perhaps it's not a mirror all the time. But most of the time, AI is a mirror. It's reflective of who's using it. If somebody who's using it is smart, then it will be smart. If someone who's using it is dumb, then it will be dumb. That's what I think. I think it's rare that it really strikes above that, in my experience. It's rare that it really notices things or just not good at it. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. It's just random traffic. Well, good thing I got out when I did, because it looks like, obviously if I even left like 5 minutes later, this probably would have been a lot worse coming through. So, but yeah, AI is a mirror. It's not something that is going to hand somebody new information. And I mean, maybe at some point it will get more like that. But I think for a while now, it's just going to be a mirror. And yeah, for people like me, I've actually been able to learn a lot in a very accelerated way through it. And to a lot of people, it's just useless, or maybe it's more of a distraction. I mean, you have people who use it as just like a person to talk to or something like that. That obviously doesn't make any sense. I think that if anything, that's probably, like, if I had to guess, I'm going to ask GPT the amount of people who are using AI. Like, so this is an example of what I use AI for. I don't use it as somebody to just, I'm lonely, I need to talk to someone. Like, to me, that's stupid. It's fake. It's not even, I don't know, like, the effort is not, it just doesn't make any sense. You're putting effort into something inanimate. So how does that even... Anyways, so that's like, I'm going to ask it, because if I had to guess, I actually think most people may use AI for that purpose. And I just think it's kind of stupid. It's kind of like a waste of time. It's not really learning or productive. It's just a lot of times unproductive, or I don't really know, but yeah, I don't agree with any of that stuff. I think it's silly and ridiculous. That's what I'm going to say. Now, sadly, I got lighted here, which is weird because there's nobody even... The intersection, there's nobody here. Like, waiting at a light for nothing. It's like, okay. But anyways, we are nearing the end now, guys. I actually have been thinking about trying to squeeze more out of the car rides with Schla. So I think I'm just going to keep recording until, I think we're going to start to try to stretch it. Because, I don't know. That's just kind of what I feel like doing. I feel like stretching it as much as possible. I usually end it, a bit before I get to work, but I don't entirely see what that accomplishes. I don't know that it's as interesting, and then I don't get as much content recorded, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I may change my mind about that. It's just, I've usually been cutting it off about, let's say, 1 to 3 minutes. No, maybe more like 2 to 4 minutes than I need to. That's when I've been cutting it off. And I just do that to kind of accelerate, like, oh, I can get my stuff together for work and all, like, get myself ready. Like, I mean, there's not much to get ready, but I obviously have 2 phones out, and, you know, there's other things I do or whatever, so I just think I would have already cut it off by now, but I might as well try to get more, sorry, I just took that turn, like, kind of rough. I don't know. I guess because, again, I'm not used to talking while at this point. Typically, I am already done by now, so anyways. Oh, I need to be. I'm not on the ball. This is kind of ruining me. Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know, maybe this wasn't a good idea. I'll probably get used to it, but for the time being, it's kind of, I guess it's something to get used to. But I don't know how much it ended up mattering. Just because of the way the timing works out, it's usually like 50-second. No, it's down to the second. So I clock. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it mattered that I was slow just because of how it felt today. But today is July 10th. Isn't that nice? But yeah, I figured I'll just keep recording and talking. I mean, I'll probably wrap it up very soon, but it's just a way to get like a little bit extra content in. I know most people probably would just tune out by now, and that's okay, but I think it's cool just to still have it here, I guess. Because it's not like I'm doing anything else anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of feel like I have nothing better to do. So that's why, I don't know. But anyways, I do think momentarily it will be time to figure it out, to wrap it up. So as usual, it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. See you, schla.